I saw an advertisement this week for a new season of American Ninja Warrior, which I have to admit is a lot of fun to watch. A lot of different people attempt to complete this ridiculously difficult obstacle course, doing crazy challenges that take an amount of body strength that I don't know actually exists. And at the very end of this competition, they have to climb this huge wall, which almost goes past vertical, and they have to grab on top, pull up, and then hit the button, and they win. I think it's very funny that the first word of this show is called American, because in many ways this is a great analogy for the American sort of mentality. I do whatever I need to get ahead, I grapple and I do what I need to do to get ahead, only to be toppled a little bit later by someone else who's faster and stronger. We see this play out, for example, in politics, of doing whatever I can to get on top. Or we see this in corporations, of doing whatever we can to make the most money, only to be bought up by somebody else. And we see this also play out in our readings for today. In our first reading, we hear about the Prince of Tyre. Tyre was located about 50 miles south of Beirut, which experienced that horrific explosion just 2 weeks ago. And this Prince of Tyre thinks he has it all. He has power, he has money, he has wisdom, he thinks he's even wiser than God. And to this, the prophet Ezekiel says, "You fool, you're a man and not God. Don't think of yourselves as immortal. Stop working for the glory of me." He's been spending all of this time working for his own glory and for his own good. We see that also carry out in our psalm today, which actually comes to us from a canticle of Moses, in which he says, other people think that God has won the victory for them, but everything comes from God, that we can't claim it because of our own power. Lastly, in our gospel today, we hear the very funny analogy that Jesus uses of a camel passing through the eye of a needle. Obviously an impossible task. And so he says, so will it be for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven. Rich in the things of this world, rather than rich in the things of heaven. And we hear about Peter at the end of this gospel with that American Ninja Warrior mentality where he says, well, what's in it for us? What do we get out of this? He's a great reminder that he is also struggling to move from the working for the glory of me to the glory of thee. Yet God is patient with him, and Christ is patient with him. So too, I think these readings invite us to think about how the ways in which we are a bit like St. Peter. What's in it for me? And what are the things that we allow to get in the way of our relationship with God, and rather work for the glory of thee? You know, this gospel is a great reminder of the contrast that we hear in the beginning of Luke's gospel with Mary's Magnificat, where she says, God has cast down the mighty from their thrones and has lifted up the lowly. So may we too be lowly today as we pursue the highest good, that is the cross of Christ.